Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this moment, I will expression about my paper with detailed integrating of socio-scientific issue into predict, observe, explain, extend strategy to facilitate student collaboration skill. I am Antoni Wiasi from the Department of Chemistry Education, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, and Sekar Dewi Setianingrum. Okay, well, we will start with introduction. You know that 21st century skill uh, requirement some skill for student that they could be competitiveness in the world. Some of them is communication and collaboration skill. Communication is needed for student to have a good relation with other, and with collaboration skill a student will good relation with other. They can make some teamwork and so on. Also the collaboration skill is can be facilitated by group in work. So a teacher should promote student collaboration skill throughout the appropriate strategies. The one of strategy is inquiry that we can use POA. I'm sorry, this should be ED in the last E. P is predict, O is observe, and A explore, explain, and then in this paper we add the ED. This means it's external strategy. PUIT strategy is one of a strategy in inquiry learning. That in this strategy, a student make a collaboration to answer some inquiries, some question that they find in their initial learning. In this case, the initial learning, the problem is come from a socio-scientific issue. Why socio-scientific issue? Because socio-scientific issue is the one of problem that makes student more critical, because the problem is related to social issue and science issue in the daily life of students. So I think with SSE in the integrated in POA strategy, it will more attract to student to having a habit of thinking good, critically, communication, and the last they will having a good collaboration skill. This one, this introduction why this research is important. Okay, based on the introduction, we can formulate some of research question. First, is there any significant difference in student collaboration skill among each POE SSE implementation? And then the second one, is there any improvement in student collaboration skill? And then in the third one, is there any significant difference in student collaboration skill aspect? Method, we use the pre-experimental design, and we have 60, 60, 65, 65 11 grade student of senior high school involved as research sample. Uh, what about the teaching intervention? Teaching intervention is conducted collaboratively. Students work collaboratively in the small group for meeting, and then the for meeting is covered for theme or concept. They include theory of acid base, indicator of acid base, strong acid base, and weak acid base. SSE was integrated on the last meeting. The SSE that used in this research is a use of product for food, acid rain, and the habit of saving better. All of us SSE was used as starting point on the predict step. Okay, and the instrument we just use one instrument called collaboration skill rubric, or we call it GSR. They consist of 4 aspects. First is communication skill with 6 items, and then interaction skill with 5 items, commitment skill with 5 items, and responsibility skill have 4 items. So the total is 20 items of collaboration skill rubric. Then the reliability of instrument, we asked 3 of chemistry education experts to look at the instrument to ensure the content and construct validity. And then the reliability was measured through using the rubric to observe student. The student is mean out of the sample, work in group with one of learning scenario. And then the interactive reliability have been calculated that that can be found of 0.92 for 20 item. This means that the instrument is reliable and useful to get the appropriate data. And then the data analysis, we use a descriptive statistic. Before that, we giving the score for the instrument. We have 1 until 4 for rank score for each item. The statistic descriptive was used to describe mean score of collaboration skill, while one way ANAVA is to analyze the difference of a collaboration skill. We will present the result in discussion. In the table, we can see that the mean of each aspect of collaboration skill is varied from every meeting. Based on the mean score, the student collaboration skill overall in the good category in the range of 3.5 until 3.66. And then the highest achievement was in the implementation of the second PUSSSE with the concept of acid-base indicator, while the lowest was elaboration skill in the learning strength of base. I think one of the factor is because the kind of SSE, and then also the what is the difficulties of the concept. Okay, and then the second result, and this result is the mean of the collaborative skill for each aspect. You can see that in the table, there are also varied mean score every item, every aspect of collaboration skill. The fact that the aspect of communication and interaction skill do not differ significantly in all POESSE implementation, maybe because these skills are general in nature and not directly related to the task characteristic. I mean that aspect of communication and interaction skills sometimes is initial or natural skill from student. So the effect of characteristic of tasks, maybe the theme, and then the difficulties of concept is not directly affect this aspect. Okay, but for the other aspect of commitment and responsibility are closely related to the task characteristic. We know that students need more commitment because if they're not interest in the some of concept like acid and base, student maybe not could have commitment to solve this problem, the inquiry during their lesson. The commitment is related to responsibility, because responsibility is just gain better if they have commitment to solve every problem in the acid-based learning. Okay, the other result, we know that interestingly, that only the POSS implemented on string acid-based concept that has different, at least in one aspect of collaboration skill compared to other. So this meaning that string acid of base is most differences than other meeting or the other POESSE implementation. The reason we can explain because the use of familiar SSE compared to the acid rain is the first SSE that we use in this learning. SSE that was in the last meeting, habit of saving better, less familiar to student, since that this issue that habits is it is too much happen in the village community. So maybe in the cities, maybe all from young student, this is not familiar, and it is the become the one aspect, one reason why this SSE makes the collaboration is different. Okay, and the last after we do the research, we can make conclusion as that the integrating SSE into PUA strategy on asset-based learning engage student in a common task, working jointly to construct the meaning or solve the problem. And then overall, student had a good collaboration skill, but still need to be improved related to their commitment and responsibility. Okay, I think it's enough for me. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask to me, and I will try to answer best for you. Thank you. Good afternoon for all.